to introduce Vanessa Ortega and Caitlin Valencia from Brain Injury Network of St. Jude, that who will be our presenters for our class today, 5 pillars of brain health. So Vanessa and Caitlin, is all yours.
Thank you, Tanha. Can everybody see that okay?
All right, perfect. Thank you, Caitlin, for sharing as well. And yeah, Dr. Daniel Ignacio, he's our program lead as well. He wasn't able to join us in this presentation, but he's will be very excited to hear how it went as well. So yeah, he's part of our team as well. So yeah, other than that, today the focus is discussing about the 5 brain health pillars, right? That's why we're all here, because we want to see, how can we engage these tools into our daily lives as well. Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna start off with expressing and then sharing with all of you who is St. Jude Brain Injury Network, right? What do we do? What is our mission, and who do we serve as well? So history about St. Jude Brain Injury Network. We've been serving Orange County and extended counties for over 37 years. It's been established since 1989. It's a program through St. Jude Community Services with St. Jude Medical Center. We are part of the California Association Traumatic Brain Injury, would be CATBI, CATB acronyms. Our focus is using the home and community reintegration model. So what does that mean, right? If I'm sharing, yeah, we focus in community reintegration and home. We provide a full scope of person-centered support for traumatic brain injury survivors as they're wanting to reintegrate back into activities that they've enjoyed, right? If they're wanting to get back into work, volunteer, we talk about vocational, so how can we be of support and help them along the way, also for their recovery, right? So that's something we're very vital for our program as well. There is a total of 12 CATB sites. We are located in Orange County. We have one in Santa Barbara, San Diego. There's a total of 12, so individuals are able to access that in a full scope of the state of California as well. If you're interested in finding the local CATB site within your county, you can visit our website, as it's stated here, and get more information on that as well. We are state funded through the Department of Rehab. Also, that's where our funding fuels in as well. Thank you to the Department of Rehab. Perfect. So yeah, I can talk about the amazing work we do, but who is eligible? Who are we able to register as a client or provide information and referral, right? So participant must be 18 years of older regardless of date of injury, right? So what does that mean? What this means is that an example would be if an individual is 18 years, comes into our office and says, hey, I want to register as a registered client, and let's say their traumatic brain injury occurred at the age of 17, we can still provide that full scope services for the participant, even like I said, it's regardless of the age of the injury as well. Second, have experienced an externally caused traumatic brain injury after birth, right? Some of the causes of traumatic brain injury, which we call etiology, would be falls, motor vehicle accidents, recreational or sports related, or even work related, right, cases as well. And we, like I said, we do serve participants in Orange County and also extended counties as well. So we've had participants call from other states who are wanting to, be more informed about traumatic brain injury and how to create a care plan, right, as well. So we do provide information and referral to those participants, and then we direct them to their local Brain Injury Association of America as well. So yeah, you have to reside in California. If the individual doesn't, then we can still provide information and referral as well. Perfect. All right, perfect. So what type of services do we provide, right? So once the participant is registered, we do provide supportive programming that would consist of our support groups. We have support groups such as our TBI support groups that meets every Fridays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. We do have our caregiver support group, which would be providing care and support for loved ones who are living with a TBI, right? So if the caregiver is caring for an individual that's, having challenges, with a traumatic brain injury, they can join the support group, which Caitlin Valencia leads as well. So it's very great, right? We want to focus in providing support to our TBI survivors, but also our caregivers, right? Because they're very vital into the survivor's care outcome, right, as well. And they're part of their support system. So we appreciate caregivers a lot and everything that they do. And then we do also provide education on TBI, resources and information. So we make sure to provide some workshops. We do have on our website our winter cognitive workshops. So they're workshops that have been recorded for you to access through our website if you're wanting to learn more about, let's say, emotional regulation. We have more about compensatory strategies. So it's something that if you want to have access for, please, I'll add it on the chat. Our website, you can go to our homepage and then get a feel of each of the workshops as well. They're free of access. So we do bring awareness of education and workshops as well. Perfect. And we do have, and then we do hope to have an upcoming workshop as well, possibly the fall of 2026. So if you're interested in being informed, how would I know, right, when these workshops will be rolling out in the fall? You're more than welcome to subscribe into our newsletters, basically where you would be updated with any events that we're having. You'll get brain health education. You'll stay connected to the services that we provide. So I'll add it on the chat as well if you're wanting to subscribe into our newsletters. Perfect. Advocacy program, right? What services do we provide? We provide, like it says here, referrals. We connect them to funding services. We provide Social Security application process, right? We know that after a survivor, right, they're being discharged. They're having to navigate everything on their own if they don't have a caregiver, right? So how can we be of support? So we provide brain injury resource facilitation as well to help them navigate all those assistance that they can help and help them be able to even connect with medical professionals within their network scope, so then they can have they can have less barriers along the way as they're navigating their care plan. And then we have community reintegration, helping the participant reintegrate into activities that they enjoyed, such as maybe going back into work, volunteering, or joining a community program as well, right? We definitely want to give them the opportunity that the more engaging there is, the better and the bigger support system they can grow along the way. Housing as well, we do provide housing support. That would be directing them to their local, housing resources within their county. And then vocational as well, right? Like I said, if they're wanting to get back into work, school, or just volunteer as well, we provide that full scope. So these would be our full scope of person-centered assistance, and it's such a good opportunity to be able to help individuals, because it could be very different for each individual. Some of them might need all 4 areas, or some of them might want more of a brain injury resource facilitation, but it's great, yeah. So if you know anyone that now that we're speaking about our services, that you feel, you know what, this might be a good candidate for me to refer out, please let me and Caitlin know. We'll drop off our email in the chat, and then we can make that connection with him as well. Perfect. All right, so now we're diving into brain health, right? That's the exciting part. We're going to talk about brain health pillars. So first, we'll talk about brain health. Right, brain health is important. Why is it important, right? So as you see here, it states that changes occurs to our brain as we age, right? So as we age, there's changes in our brain, and then also on top of that, right, if we experience a trauma, which would be a traumatic brain injury, a stroke, a dementia, right, there could also be changes to that as well. And then here, certain parts of our brain can shrink, right? As we continue to age, certain parts of our brain would be shrinkage, including those that control learning and executive functioning, right? So when we state about certain parts shrinking, we're talking about the main powerhouse in our brain, right? Our hippocampus, right? Our hippocampus is very important because that's where we store our short-term to our long-term memory. So if there's shrinkage there, right, it could really affect how we're processing information, and how are we able to save all those great memories as well, right? The sharpness of cognitive as well. And then executive function, right? That's very important. That's located in our frontal lobe as well. So that takes a big part of us making those decisions in our daily lives as well. So if we're having issues there, right, that's very concerning. But we're here because we want to learn what tools we can use as well. And then blood flow in the brain can decrease, right? If there is decrease in blood flow in the brain, that could affect us as well. It could due to lifestyle factors, maybe chronic stress, lack of physical activity, or other factors can be impacting the blood flow in the brain, right? It decreases, and we definitely need to focus on how can we engage in having more increase of blood flow into our brain as well. And then, yeah, it's very important and vital that we do that. But that's why we're here, right, to learn about the tools that we can use as well. Perfect. And then we talk about communication between neurons may slow or be less effective, right? So one neuron to another neuron, as they fire and they wire together, right, they communicate. They're moving along, just as right now, right? Right now we're all learning about brain health pillars and the importance of brain health. Right now, each of us, we all have neurons, right? So they're all firing right now together and working together. But what if we're in a situation where our neurons are not firing and they're slowing down? We can encounter memory problems, difficulty concentrating. Maybe there could be some brain fog or maybe fatigue, right? And so those could be things that could affect our daily living, and what can we do about it, right? As well. Perfect. So yeah, what can we do about this? How can we overcome these, daily things that us as humans we encounter, right, as well? Neuroplasticity, right? So we talk about neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself in response to learning, experience, or injury, right? So neuroplasticity is very vital when we want to make that change into our daily lives. And then neuroplasticity creates new connections between neurons. The more connection of neurons, the stronger pathways we have in our brain as well, right? And we can say this, but as we move along the presentation, you'll get to learn more about neuroplasticity and the positive impact into our lives as well. We'll talk about the 5 healthy brain pillars. They're very vital and important into our health. They help with fighting the effective aging of the brain. Well, what does that mean, right? When I say fighting the effective aging of the brain, what do I mean by that? I mean we're working and helping our brain to stay healthy and active, and then fight against aging as well. Perfect. So I'll introduce, right, our 5 brain health pillars as well. Number 1, we're going to discuss about physical exercise. 2, healthy diet and nutrition, right? Number 3, sleep. And then number 4, cognitive stimulation, which we're doing right in this moment, right? We're learning about brain health. We're stimulating our cognitive as well. And then number 5, social connection, which we're also doing, right? Because we're here gathered wanting to learn more further, and we're engaging and we're socially connecting as well. And then it says, these have been shown to not only make your brain healthier and resilient, but may fight the effect of aging. All right, perfect. So I'll start off with number 1, physical exercise, right? We'll talk about the importance of it, right? With the importance of physical exercise and the way it demonstrates that importance in our autonomic nervous system, in our brain, right? Here it keeps our heart and blood vessels strong. It increases blood and oxygen to the brain, right? Just as we stated, right? The more blood and oxygen there is, the better, and then the more neurons connect as well. It increases activity of neurotransmitters and keeps brain. and keeps brain going, reduces stress and improves energy. We said, right, chronic stress can be very difficult, and it could actually lead to more aging of the brain. So reducing stress is a positive thing, right? Exercise lowers blood sugar levels, and then it increases brain-derived neuropathic factor, BDNF, right, which helps memory and mental health. So yeah, the more blood carries oxygen to our brain, right? So the more blood we have, the more oxygen our brain will be receiving. And then, so basically, it's blood brings fuel to the brain. Fuel is good. Fuel is nutrition. It gives us energy. It helps us move along as well. And then we can talk further about the BDNF, right? What is BDNF, right? It's a chemical in your brain that helps you with rewiring, right? It's basically the fuel that powers your neurons. So it's the source that helps the neurons keep wiring, right? And then neuroplasticity. So in a way, if you don't have BDNF and you don't have neuroplasticity, right? They both have to work together in order to fire and wire your neurons as well. So those are very vital factors to have as well, right? Yeah, I would say those are the factors important. And then how can we implement physical exercise into our daily living, right? Like we said, exercise enhances neuroplasticity, reduces inflammation, increases the size of the hippocampus, right? As you guys recalled in the beginning, I stated that the hippocampus, that's where we store our short-term memory to our long-term memory. That's where we are, when we're learning something new, right, that's where we're storing it, and then we're transitioning into long-term, where it becomes a memory for us, right? Something that it's like a muscle memory, like you already, like basically tying your shoe, right? Muscle memory as well. And what activities can one do, right? Well, Vanessa, you're saying I have to do physical exercise, right? What activities can I do to engage? So, you know, it says 150 minutes per week, engaging, right? As well, you basically walking, easy as walking if it's easy for you to navigate that. You know, they have yoga, dancing, kickboxing, you know, making a baseline as to what is your comfort, what is within your environment, and what is easy to access for you to engage in physical exercise, right? And I would say scaffold, right? Take your time. I definitely don't want you one day to do 150 minutes one day, right? Definitely don't do that to your body, right? You want to be able to engage into activities that you enjoy, right? If you enjoy yoga, why not do it with families, friends, your support system? Make it as fun as possible for you to continue engaging as well. Perfect. And then we did wanted to share this information with all of you. I know me and Caitlin say that 150 minutes a week, right? It's not a number that we made up. So we do have we have with the full support of Center for Disease of Control. They also have stated that 150 minutes a week is ideal for moderate physical activity. They did state too, how does it impact an adult or older adult? As you can see here, right, it reduces anxiety, improves sleep as well, and then bone health as well, improves your cognition. So there's quite a lot of benefits to physical activity. And then here, as you can see here, they do, like I said, they said 150 minutes. And I would just find something that you're interested, or maybe you're already engaging in something that you were not aware, and you're physically engaging into physical activity. So to finish off this slide and pass it on to Kaylin, I just want to let you know, what's your move, right? What are you deciding to move? How are you going to engage into that physical activity?
Yeah, thank you, Vanessa. That was so good. And yeah, you can think about that too. How are you going to exercise and implement maybe a little bit more moderate exercise into your life? And it can be things like a deep clean of your house, gardening. It doesn't always have to be, going to the gym and doing those calisthenics. It can be, very basic or very much geared towards what you need and what your capabilities are. So, Brain health pillar number 2 is diet and nutrition, and which we've all heard since we were children, right? Eating healthy and eating all those fruits and vegetables and the food pyramid and all that thing. So you're going to hear it again from me. So definitely trying to get whole foods, anything that is minimally processed. So we want to eat more of those fresh fruits and vegetables, the grains and the oats, and all of those things. There are benefits that have been shown in a lot of peer-reviewed studies that show that a plant-based diet is actually the best. Avoiding some of that meat and especially the red meat, and the chicken and all of those things. But of course, we do hear about the Mediterranean diet and the benefits of eating fish. So we'll get over there. And what you would eat affects your brain functioning. I don't know if anyone's heard of the gut-brain axis, which is really that our stomach is connected to our brain. And our food, what we eat, fuels our bodies, but also fuels our brains. They say about 1/3 of what you eat actually goes just to your brain's functioning. So you are what you eat. So definitely make sure that you are eating very good amounts of food as well, because if you're not eating that much, then you're not getting that nutrition to your brain as well. Um, Brain scientists and neurologists have recommended the MIND diet, which is the Mediterranean DASH diet, and DASH is like a lower sodium diet, and it's an intervention for neurodegenerative delay. So there's a lot of really great sites out there that really show the benefits of eating this MIND diet and have great recipes, shopping lists, just ways to get that diet in as healthy as you can. Like I said, we are what we eat, right? So we want to make sure that our gut is doing very well, that we are getting proper digestion. So we want to eat foods that are high in fiber. Fiber is also great for cognition, and getting that healthy gut also helps our brain. So things like beans. So there's all kinds of different ways we can eat beans. We can have, pinto beans, kidney beans, garbanzo beans like hummus, all kinds of great things. Berries, of course, we talk about the benefits of blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, strawberries are all really great. They're high in fiber, high in antioxidants, and all of those great things that our body needs. And oats are wonderful as well. Omega-3s are actually foods that are great for your brain health. I'm sure some of you take your fish oils or your krill, algae oils, which are really great. I find that when I do take my fish oil, I do feel a lot kind of better during the day. So a fish, salmon is really high in omega-3s. Chia seeds are wonderful. Just make sure that you do let them sit and kind of soak for about 10 to 15 minutes before you eat them. And flaxseed is also wonderful. And fatty fish, like I said, like salmon and sardines. And then walnuts are actually very surprisingly high in omega-3s. So really great. Add those on a salad, on a side with your berries, and you got a perfect meal. We do want to avoid some of those things that can clog our arteries because, like we've said, if your arteries are clogged, you're not getting all that oxygen to your brain, and that is where we do see some breakdowns, especially as we age. So we definitely want to avoid things like trans and saturated fats, like vegetable oils. We want to try and get those healthy olive oils that do have some of those health benefits, and really reduce our consumption of tobacco and alcohol. It has been known to to increase some cognitive delays. So definitely try and decrease it. Supplements, we hear all the time, right? Supplements, vitamins, order these. So these are some that have been scientifically proven to improve some brain health and, of course, any just general body health. Vitamins, especially B12, folic acid, B5, B vitamins are wonderful for cognition and brain health. Vanessa is so tired of hearing me talk about how I take my B vitamins every day and I feel great. And on the days I don't take them, I'm like, oh, don't feel great. Vitamin D, which is always really wonderful. We do get that by absorbing the sun. I know we've heard of that before. We do get that through some foods as well. And you will get that vitamin D even when you wear sunscreen. So please wear your sun protection when you're out as well. Magnesium is really great for brain functioning and health. Sometimes people have spoken about how it does kind of help them to sleep sometimes. It does help calm them. It is good for some health things like migraines. So magnesium is wonderful as well. We talked about fish oil and folic acid. And then green tea. is really wonderful. It's full of those antioxidants. It's a very natural energy enhancer, and it's just lovely. And we've also heard coffee as well. So if you are a coffee drinker, just know you're on the right track. So, full disclosure, I am not a dietitian or a doctor. So make sure if you are starting any of these, always check with your healthcare practitioner before to make sure there are no interactions with your medications, to make sure you have no allergies, and just make sure that you are on the right track if you are going to take any supplements. So, sleep is our brain health pillar 3. Sleep is so important. I don't know about you, but when I don't get a full night of sleep, 5 to 7 hours, 6 to 8 hours, I am very grumpy. So make sure that you are trying to get that really great sleep. And not just staying asleep all night, the maintenance of it, but also the initiation. So if you are having trouble falling asleep or you find yourself waking up at night, absolutely discuss that with your doctor and make sure that you are getting proper sleep. Sleep at night is when we notice that our lymphatic system, which is kind of our waste system, is removed at night. Think of the little guys in your brain with their trash cans, taking out all the bad stuff you did all day, and also consolidating our memories. All those really great things we did that day are being consolidated at night and are being pushed into our long-term memory so that we can keep remembering those things. So sleep is so vital for our brains. So I know we've talked about the trouble with sleep sometimes. So make sure that you don't force sleep, that when you get to your bed is only for sleep. You're not sitting in your bed doing other things in the early evening or during the day, that we really get it into our brains that our bed is only for sleep. And definitely establishing a bedtime routine, trying to get to bed at that specific same time every night, as well as maybe coming up with a routine to, by 9 o'clock, you're putting your phone away or you're showering at 8:45 or all of those things, because your body will start to recognize, okay, these things are going on. It is time for me to get to sleep. And you'll notice kind of that fatigue setting in. And of course, establishing proper cues for sleeping, like I said, limiting light, doing all those things before bed that your body can help recognize. Some other tips for having trouble with sleep: avoid daytime naps if you can. Their nap will keep you up at night, and then your body will also start to crave it. So really just try and kick out those naps if you're having trouble sleeping at night. Exercise, which we talked about, right? Physical exercise, number 1. And we do talk about how intersectional and interconnected these all pillars really are. They do affect the other. When you exercise, then you want to eat well. And when you eat well, you want to exercise. And so just like this, right? If you're eating food late before bed, then your body is going to find it hard to settle. And then as well, if you're exercising, then that body's going to be more fatigued at the end of the day. Limiting your intake of caffeine is also very important. So try not to drink coffee or tea in the afternoon, unless it's like a decaf or a chamomile tea or something like that. Don't take our problems to bed. Sometimes we're sitting in bed, we're thinking about what went wrong at work or financial problems or personal problems. Try not to take those to bed. So try and establish something called a worry hour, or maybe from 6 to 7, you kind of sit down and you think about those things and you work through them in your brain to really get them out of your system. So you're not taking them to bed and thinking about them and really falling asleep later because you're so stressed out over that. And then, like we had said before, establish a regular sleep hour. I'm going to sleep from 10 to 6 every night. So then we have our brain health pillar 4, which is cognitive stimulation. So that's using our brain, challenging ourselves to do those things that really cause us to think a little bit harder. We hear all the time, right? You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Yeah, you can. So definitely use it or lose it with our brains. If we're not using that part of our brain, or we're not really challenging ourselves, then that does lead us to lose some of those memories and lose some of those functions as we do age. So we definitely want to keep ourselves busy and going and doing new things. So we can use our brain for things like memorization, right? Learning new things, going back to school, reading a nonfiction book on a subject that you maybe haven't heard before, and of course, mixing it up. So definitely learning new things is very helpful. And like we've talked about, maybe you love to sew and you're sewing, you know, quilts all day long. Well, that's great. And you are stimulating your brain, but maybe try a new pattern that's a little bit more difficult. Or you like doing puzzles at, 750 piece puzzles, try 1,000 piece. Really try and kind of push yourself and give yourself that little bit of challenge. And you're really going to notice some of those changes. And you may actually notice that doing all these things may actually make you more tired as well. Um, so it's really great to kind of do some of these things. Definitely, if you are trying to challenge yourself, learn new things, keep track, write it down, make a goal, something tangible that's really going to encourage you to do that thing a little bit harder. If maybe you want to read more, then, set a goal. I'm going to read 5 books a month and, write down your books and keep a log. It really helps. And then using an app or a timer is also a really great way. We've talked about this in our support groups, using apps that motivate you, that give you a little bit of positive reinforcement are really great. Focus timers or anything like that, or using an alarm. Okay, you know what? It's 5:30. It's time to read or whatever it is, is also very, very helpful. So I just threw out some ideas. I'm sure you are probably sitting there thinking about different ways you can challenge yourself. So things like art, right? Painting, maybe picking up a new medium if you love to draw, trying some color pencils or markers. uh, Music, both listening to it and playing it, have actually shown scientific proof that they are really great for mental stimulation. So if you are playing an instrument or anything like that, you're definitely on the right track. Learning, like I had said, you can go back to school, do a night class, maybe teach yourself a new skill or anything like that. And then, like I said, reading, journaling is also a really great way to cognitively stimulate ourselves, especially if we're journaling happy things. Talking about great things that are happening in our lives is really great. And there is also scientific proof to show the benefit between handwriting and neuroplasticity. Definitely using our instead of typing is a really great way to cognitively stimulate your brain and develop those new neurons. Giving gratitude at the end of the day is also a great way. Really digging through our memories, using that hippocampus to find things that happened during the day is great. And meditation, whether guided or unguided, is also a fabulous way. Gardening, like we've talked about, going out there, maybe trying to grow a new plant or a new fruit or vegetable is also a really great way to cognitively stimulate yourself. And anything that's salient, which means anything that you find beneficial. We don't want you to challenge yourself to the point where it's so difficult you want to give up. You want to do something that's really great and in your wheelhouse of your interests. So don't try and go out and do something you don't like. Try and keep that definitely in the subject of things that you really do enjoy. So our last brain health pillar is our social connection, which everybody's doing right now, right? We're sitting in this room right here, all looking at each other and talking. It builds emotional resilience, which is really beneficial for neuroplasticity, especially when we're in a group of people who are very positive, uplifting, engaging, definitely making those friendships that are very happy and you want to speak to that person. It reduces our stress, right? We could talk about something difficult in our lives with our friends who will then offer us some solutions, which is really great. Protecting against loneliness. I know we've talked about, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about the loneliness epidemic that's been developed in these last couple of years. So keeping ourselves engaged with others keeps us from being lonely. And it actually has been shown too that it helps our immune system. We actually do stay healthier when we're engaging with other people. So it's really fascinating. And then, of course, we have our increased motivation to engage in our other pillars. If we're going to a healthy lunch with our friends, we're walking with our friends, we're going to sewing class, we're talking with our other students because we're in school. All of those things actually do really engage us in our other pillars. And I think really when we are able to combine them, it's very helpful. So if maybe you're thinking, I don't really have a lot of close friends, but I do want to engage with some other people, like what are ways I can do that? So you can look into social groups or support groups. We have our TBI support group and our caregiver group. CRC has a lot of really fabulous support groups. Maybe you we have people who go to AA. We have people that go to the wellness center. Any sort of interest, there's going to be a group for it, right? When you go on Facebook and you can type in a group and it'll give you something. So any sort of social group is really great. Community centers are wonderful. In all of our cities, we have really great community centers who have really great programs. We have senior centers and adult day health centers, which are really great for meeting other people and encouraging you to communicate with others. Like I said, group classes, right? Those fitness classes, a sewing class, all of those things are really great. And then just going to a public place, sometimes going on a walk, when you're on your walks or your hikes and good morning, just saying hello to everybody, going to a farmer's market, going to a festival you see, everything is really great to connect with others and just give a quick smile and a wave. And really, it does help us to connect with other people. And of course, calling, writing your friend, texting them is always really helpful. Just a quick text to a friend, hey, thinking of you, or anything like that is always really beneficial. Writing letters or emails, if that's kind of more your speed, is also great. And weekly calls with a certain friend or having a planned, Sunday at 5, I call my sister, or whatever it is, really helps keep you engaged and it keeps you looking forward to the week. And we've talked about it too in our support groups, right, Vanessa, that, when you're thinking of those things and you're like, oh, I can really talk about that this week with someone. So it's really great. It gets you motivated throughout the week to really look for the good. So when you're communicating with either a support group or a friend, you really have some of these successes and glimmers to share with the rest of the group. So those are our 5 brain health pillars. So maybe you're thinking that you're motivated, you're excited to do these things, right? Well, how can I do it? It's easy enough to say, I want to eat healthy, or I'm going to start walking more, or I'm going to make sure I go to sleep at 10 o'clock every night, but you don't have a plan. So when you set that goal, really try and make a plan. And it can be something very small. It doesn't have to be, I'm going to sign up for this marathon next week. So make a schedule. Think about it either on paper or in your head of what you're going to do from 5 to 6. You're going to look up that, or make that meal, or on your lunch break, you're going to look up a recipe and go home and make that meal. You're going to exercise from 7 to 8. On Saturday at 5 o'clock, you're going to call that friend, or whatever you need. Really make that schedule in your head of those ways that you are going to implement these pillars. And setting alarms on our phone are also very beneficial. If you want to go on to a workout class or anything like that, setting that alarm and also having it scheduled in your phone as a recurring calendar invite is also very helpful. Accountability partners, which is really great, right? That's that social connection. And also speaking it out loud to someone, you really have someone to hold you accountable to say, hey, did you eat healthy this week? Or did you smoke less, or did you wake up at 6 a.m. instead of 8 o'clock sleeping in like you do, or anything like that? And then, like we've said, scaffolding and starting small and building your way up is actually very beneficial. Don't overwhelm yourself with doing 10 things at once. Really make those small steps and small changes. And the more you do it, the more the brain's going to have that neuroplasticity. It's going to rewire itself, and it's actually going to begin to crave these new habits you're developing. So it's a couple examples, right? In the morning, you can go for a walk, do a workout before work or before whatever you're doing during that day. In the afternoon, then you're like, okay, I'm going to eat that healthy lunch that I've been seeing, and I'm also going to do my cognitively stimulating activity. And then in the evening, you can connect with maybe someone you're living with, or maybe someone you're very close to that has a similar schedule. You can connect on the phone, FaceTime, maybe it's your next door neighbor, right? And then, of course, preparing for sleep, developing that sleep routine. So just some ideas. All right. So my suggestion, my homework for you, which I love to give everyone assignments to make sure everyone's accountable, is just to pick one pillar that you're going to improve this week, right? I really want to eat healthy this week. Okay, well, what does that look like? I'm gonna, have one healthy meal every day, and then start planning out what you think those healthy meals will be. Start planning your grocery list, whatever it is. So just pick something very small that you want to improve this. And you are more than welcome. This next one is our contact information. So if you have any questions, would like to connect with the Brain Injury Network, we're always here. These are our phone numbers, our address, and then our general email line. So yeah, we're always here to support and develop. And I hope you guys have learned something. And does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, Caitlin, I love how you said pick one pillar, right, as well. And also thinking about as you're picking that one pillar, right, that you want to engage in, also plan who's going to be part of that pillar, right? What support system do you have for them to help you along the way and engage into this activity? Is it accessible for you? Is it within even your own home? Is it in your home? Is it in the community? And then just scaffold, right? We definitely want you to scaffold. We talk about the boom bust, right? We don't want you to go to 100%, like scaffold, invite your support system so then it can be encouraging as well.
Yeah, and calling old friends is every week is really great, right? You get to connect with people that you've connected with for years, and it's really great. It's a great idea. And hear what's going on in their life, share what's going in your life is really beneficial.
Mhm. Yeah, I really like that. There's a lot of information, and to me, I like walking because after a long day of working and in the office, so like when I get home, I walk, I feel like breathing the fresh air and enjoy like there's all the trees around it and the good breeze. So it's really helped to clear my mind. So yeah.
Yeah. So
Jen, I noticed that, well, you mentioned you have workshops and also resources avoiding like homelessness. Part of the reason I'm on is my church is very community minded, and we have many people come and, some are homeless, some have brain issues. And so would this be a place where maybe, I could start helping someone in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, we can assist. We usually just connect with agencies like CalAIM or CalOptima for things like homelessness.
Mhm.
But we do partner with a network of assisted living homes of individuals with traumatic brain injuries. So we can always try and connect them with those networks as well to see if maybe they do have any openings in their boarding care facilities.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, so absolutely. If you want to reach out to us or if you want to give our information, we can always mail you business cards or things and definitely have those at your church connect with
Oh,
us.
that'd be great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'd absolutely love that.
yeah.
I'll put my email address in the chat. And Vanessa, if you want to put yours too.
Yeah, of course. I'll go ahead and add that. We'd love to connect with you as well and see how we can do that warm handoff too, right? If you're wanting to refer someone, how can we be able to provide them support as well?
Yeah.
And Hazel, thank you for sharing that Elder College. I'm going to look further into it and see what I can find. So thank you so much for sharing that.
So yeah, we still have time. If anyone would like to share, we're gonna leave it another 5 minutes. Um, so if anyone like Caitlin and Vanessa emails on the chat, please feel free to email them, or even if you would like somehow that you forgot the email, and you can reach out to us too, and then we can forward that information, or we're gonna give you their information.
I'd like to share, I think too, with the traumatic brain injuries, there's a lot of hopelessness. And that's why the support groups and the connection is so critical to help remind you of how precious you are and how important that battle is to keep going, keep working toward a better day.
That's very true.
Wow, that's amazing, Catherine.
Yeah.
Listening to that, it's just like the testimony, you
Yeah,
know. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing.
you're
Uh,
welcome.
we appreciate that. But yeah, we here for you at any time if you are have any question or even just in a doubt, like I'm not sure if I'm gonna belong to this or that. Please just give us a call, and we're here to help. Yes, and with that, I guess we're going to end the class today. And thank you again, Caitlin and Vanessa, to give us a wonderful presentation about your brain health. So, I guess I have to start eat more healthy. I need to cut down my fried food and have more salad. But thank you so much, each of every one of for your time today and to sacrifice your time to be here with us today. And thank you again, and hopefully to see you all next time in our next class. Thank you.
Yeah,
Have a
thank
wonderful
you. Thank you
day.
for having us, Tanha.
Yeah, thank
Of
you.
course.
Okay.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Thank you.
everyone.
Goodbye.